Ben Affleck? Well, sure. Uh, he could be the angel Raphael. He could play the part of Tobit. Playing an 80-year-old Jewish man who's blinded is going to be a challenge. I don't think you can take a just anybody off the bus and put him in that role. It's going to take a little gravitas, and Ben Affleck would be. He could do that with the makeup, and he could play an 80-year-old Jewish man. Tobit is likable. We like Ben Affleck. Forget all these stupid tabloids. He is a Hollywood icon, and there's very few that can play Tobit, but Ben Affleck would be ideal. I don't know if it'll ever get to his. I don't know if he'll ever see the script. I've sent hundreds of query letters, and you send 100 query letters, and two come back. One says unsolicited material. We don't read unsolicited material, and I think that in this case, when you're talking about Tobit, that means they didn't even read the query letter. They just hit delete. I think it's computerized. They've got robots that automatically respond. Yeah, there's a trench around every celebrity. Yeah, that's the talent agent and manager's job. They might disagree, but their job is to keep people away from their client. And they're vigorous. Yeah, well, you send 100 and you get one back that says unsolicited material, and one that says, yeah, we'll read it. So it's out there. It could be, I don't know where it is. Ben Affleck would be great. Your viewers may not even know the story. There's 1.5 billion people on Earth that know the story of Tobit from their religious training. Catholics, Orthodox Christians, and a lot of Jews know this story. There's a lady in the Old Testament. She's a young girl. Well, I don't know. How long does it take to be married 7 times? She's married 7 times, and a demon comes and murders her new husband. Before they even reach the wedding bed, the marriages are not consummated. So this is really weighing on Sarah. She prays. It wears her down. She's ridiculed for having 7 husbands, and they all die. So even the family maid ridicules her, and that pretty much does it. And I wouldn't say she becomes suicidal. She thinks about it and can't do that to her family. For religious reasons, she chickens out. But she prays to God that he'll come and end this and take her life. God's not going to do that. God sends Raphael, an angel. And Ben Affleck could play Raphael the angel. He could play with a little makeup and fake beard, fake Orthodox Jewish beard. He could play Tobit. He could play the son, Toby. No, you can't change the name of the movie Tobit. There's one. It has name recognition. Maybe not with you or someone that's not familiar with the story, but 1.5 billion Catholics and Orthodox Christians, Jews, know who Tobit is, or was. He's 80 years old. He goes blind. He's accustomed to feeding his family. He's always been successful and pious and charitable and full of experience. The Catholics have, I think it's 4 books, and they're called the Books of Knowledge or Wisdom, the Books of Wisdom. So Tobit is one of those. He's one of the most wise characters. Well, you live 80. Yeah, this was like 3,000 years ago. I haven't set the film 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago, the Jews in the north part of Israel were carted off to Mesopotamia, somewhere between the Tigris and Euphrates in modern day Iraq. But I set my adaptation in Amsterdam. Tobit lives in Amsterdam with his son and wife. The girl Sarah, who is being preyed upon by the demon, lives in London. Well, they're going to meet up, and Ben Affleck could play, I guess, any one of the 3 parts. Or now here's a unique idea. It's 2 of the 3. He could play Toby. Tobit's the father-in-law of Sarah, and Toby will be the groom, and Toby is the son of Tobit. So he could play those 2 roles, or he could play Raphael. I mean, Raphael's the guy who's going to dispatch the demon. At the end, obviously, there's going to be a huge fight. There's an angel in the story and a demon in the story. Well, they're going to fight in the middle of the street, down on the Thames, close to the Thames. And, some people say, oh, you're ruining it for everybody well, it's 3,000 years old. It's in half of the Bibles. It's the Book of Tobit. So I don't think I'm ruining anything. The angel's going to win, and Ben Affleck is going to wrap up the demon, beat him up, tie him up, and literally roll him into the Thames, where he's going to sink, and end of story. So yeah, Ben Affleck could do that. It doesn't matter whether he's Jewish or Christian or Orthodox Christian or Catholic. Protestants took Tobit out of the Bible in 1923. I asked a Lutheran minister, well, why isn't it in the Protestant Bible anymore? He said World War I. There's so much anti-German bias. The Protestants, the dominant religion in the United States, did that. And there's not been a film of it since the 1920s. I asked a Catholic priest in Dublin, Irish Catholic priest, and he mentioned isn't that curious that immediately after World War II, we rewrote the Bible and excluded Catholic books that were too Catholic. So it's, it sounds more religious than anything. Yeah, Lutherans took it out in 1923, 4 or 5 years after the American participation in World War I. The Lutheran minister said the reason was not because of the bias, but because of the magic. And there is magic in Tobit, but come on, we're in the movie business. Industrial light and magic. Half the movies today have some kind of magic in it. probably the top half of films made box office wise. I mean, the most profitable films all have some kind of superpowers, some kind of magic. All the horror films. Uh, this isn't really a horror film. It's actually a family film. I mean, 7 Jewish weddings, family, the bride, the groom. You've got Sarah's family, you've got Tobit's family, and everything is done to advance and protect the family. On Sarah's side, on the bride's side, and on Tobit's side. The father-in-law is the chief protagonist. Sarah is the victim. Raphael gets the job done. Ben Affleck, yeah, I can see that happening. I've sent the query letters to his people. Problem is that celebrity moat. They dig this moat. That's their job. They see that as their job, to keep people away from their client. And I understand that. Me personally, I really have. I'm not so disappointed. I understand. Someone did some research and said we write 400,000 film scripts a year, 400,000 screenplays, and these people in Hollywood, they can't handle that. The people around Ben Affleck, gosh, probably get half of those, and they can't handle that huge number. I know you've seen photographs, I think kind of manufactured, with a desk in Hollywood and the scripts stacked up so high you can't even see the guy behind the desk. And the videographers, they go behind the producer and talent agents' buildings, and they go through their dumpsters, and they're full of scripts that have been thrown away. Yeah, there's probably good scripts in there, but there's way too many for any one person to go through them. I don't know, I talked to a lawyer, and I said, an entertainment lawyer in Los Angeles, and he said, it's more luck than talent. So, yeah, I asked people if they would read the Book of Tobit from the Bible and then read my script. And a guy responded back. He said, no, what are you doing? Emailing it to everybody. I said, why? What's the matter? He said, they're going to steal it. The story is 3,000 years old. It's in 1.5 billion Bibles. No one's going to steal it. It's an adaptation. My adaptation is very close to literally what's written in the Bible. I think you should look at my script, because maybe I've taken a unique take on it. It's not set 3,000 years ago. It's set 70 years ago. So, and right before the Nazi invasion. Why did I do that? To add a little suspense at the end. Everybody that's read the story knows that Tobit's going to die. He's 80 years old. He's blind. All of this is so his family will have money and be taken care of after he dies. So, yeah, the question is he going to die? They know he's going to die. It's in print. It's in their Bible. And just common sense says an 80-year-old man getting near the end. So is he going to die in a Nazi concentration camp, a violent, ugly death, or will he have a peaceful death in his bed in Amsterdam? So that's the reason it's done that way.